The small town of Stoughton, Massachusetts was, well, shaken to its core in January 2022 when Karen Reed, a seemingly ordinary woman, was accused of a horrific crime: the murder of her boyfriend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe. The allegations sent shockwaves through the community and beyond, as the details of the case began to unfold in a dramatic and deeply unsettling manner. Reed, a respected professional with no prior criminal record, vehemently maintained her innocence from the outset. Her defense team pointed to inconsistencies in the prosecution's narrative, and raised concerns about the thoroughness and objectivity of the police investigation. As the trial commenced, a cloud of suspicion hung over the proceedings, with both sides presenting compelling arguments that left observers grappling with the complexities of the case. The prosecution alleged that Reed, in a fit of jealous rage, struck and killed O'Keefe with her vehicle after a night of heavy drinking. They painted a picture of a tumultuous relationship, marred by infidelity and fueled by alcohol, culminating in a tragic act of violence. The prosecution presented evidence suggesting that Reed had motive, opportunity, and the means to commit the crime. However, Reed's defense team countered these claims with a starkly different narrative. They argued that O'Keefe's death was a tragic accident, possibly the result of a hit-and-run or a medical emergency. The defense team presented evidence challenging the prosecution's timeline of events and questioning the validity of key pieces of evidence. The trial of Karen Reed captivated the nation, as the prosecution and defense presented their cases, each side attempting to sway the jury with their respective interpretations of the evidence. The courtroom became a battleground of conflicting narratives, with witnesses taking the stand to offer their accounts of the events leading up to O'Keefe's death. Investigative journalist, the prosecution called upon first responders who described the chaotic scene at the time of the incident. They presented forensic evidence, including DNA analysis and tire track impressions, that they claimed linked Reed to the crime. The prosecution also presented text messages and call logs that they argued demonstrated Reed's state of mind and her actions on the night of O'Keefe's death. In contrast, the defense team meticulously chipped away at the prosecution's case, highlighting inconsistencies and raising doubts about the reliability of certain witnesses. They called upon their own expert witnesses who challenged the prosecution's forensic evidence and presented alternative explanations for the physical evidence found at the scene. The defense also presented character witnesses who testified to Reed's good nature and her loving relationship with O'Keefe. Investigative journalist. As the trial progressed, it became increasingly apparent that the case hinged on circumstantial evidence and the interpretation of that evidence. The jury was tasked with the daunting responsibility of sifting through conflicting accounts, weighing the credibility of witnesses, and ultimately determining whether the prosecution had proven its case beyond a reasonable doubt. As the trial unfolded, a series of troubling revelations came to light regarding the police investigation into O'Keefe's death. Defense attorneys presented evidence suggesting that the police had failed to adequately investigate other potential suspects or leads, choosing instead to focus their attention solely on Karen Reed. Defense attorney: one of the most glaring errors involved the handling of evidence. The defense argued that the crime scene had been compromised, with crucial evidence potentially overlooked or mishandled. They pointed to the fact that the initial responding officers had not secured the scene properly, allowing for the possibility of contamination or tampering. Furthermore, the defense presented evidence suggesting that the police had failed to thoroughly investigate O'Keefe's background, which included a history of alcohol-related incidents and potential connections to individuals involved in criminal activity. The defense argued that these unexplored avenues of investigation could have led to alternative explanations for O'Keefe's death. Defense attorney: the defense also raised concerns about the conduct of the lead detective assigned to the case, alleging that the detective had displayed bias and a lack of objectivity in their pursuit of Reed. They presented evidence suggesting that the detective had prematurely concluded that Reed was guilty and had tailored the investigation to fit that narrative. The alleged missteps and oversights in the Karen Reed case sent shockwaves through the legal community, prompting scrutiny from legal experts and raising questions about the integrity of the investigation. Prominent defense attorneys and legal scholars expressed deep concern over the handling of the case, arguing that it exposed systemic flaws within the criminal justice system. The Karen Reed case is a stark reminder that even in the most high-profile cases, the presumption of innocence can be fragile, remarked renowned defense attorney and legal commentator Alan Dershowitz. The rush to judgment and the failure to thoroughly investigate all possibilities are deeply troubling and erode public trust in the justice system. Former FBI profiler and criminal psychologist Dr. Mary Ellen O'Toole echoed these sentiments, stating that the case highlighted the dangers of tunnel vision in criminal investigations. When investigators become fixated on a single suspect or theory, they risk overlooking critical evidence and making decisions based on assumptions rather than facts, Dr. O'Toole cautioned. Legal experts also expressed concern over the potential impact of confirmation bias, a cognitive bias that can lead investigators to interpret information in a way that confirms their pre-existing beliefs. In the context of the Reed case, experts argued that the police's early belief that Reed was guilty may have led them to discount evidence that contradicted their theory. The Karen Reed case, with its allegations of police misconduct and investigative oversights, ignited a firestorm of controversy and fueled growing public distrust in law enforcement. The case served as a stark reminder that even in a system designed to uphold justice, human error, bias, and systemic flaws can have profound and devastating consequences. For many, the Reed case struck a nerve, tapping into deep-seated anxieties about police accountability, prosecutorial overreach, and the potential for wrongful convictions. The case became a lightning rod for broader conversations about race, class, and privilege within the criminal justice system. The handling of the Reed case also raised concerns about the impact of implicit bias, unconscious prejudices that can influence decision-making on police investigations. Studies have shown that implicit bias can affect how police officers perceive and interact with individuals based on race, ethnicity, gender, and other social categories. The erosion of public trust in law enforcement has far-reaching consequences, as it can make it more difficult for police to solve crimes, deter criminal activity, and maintain order. When communities lose faith in the police's ability to protect and serve, they may be less likely to report crimes, cooperate with investigations, or view law enforcement as a legitimate authority. The Karen Reed case stands as a stark reminder of the importance of a fair and impartial justice system, one that is committed to upholding the presumption of innocence and ensuring that every individual, regardless of their background or circumstances, is afforded due process under the law. As the legal proceedings continue, the case serves as a catalyst for reflection, prompting us to confront uncomfortable truths about the fallibility of human judgment and the potential for errors within the criminal justice system. The outcome of the Karen Reed trial will undoubtedly have significant implications, not only for the individuals directly involved, but also for the broader conversation surrounding police accountability and the pursuit of justice. Regardless of the verdict, the case serves as a powerful reminder that we must remain vigilant in our pursuit of a more just and equitable society, one where the scales of justice are balanced and the presumption of innocence is fiercely guarded. The pursuit of justice requires a collective commitment to transparency, accountability, and ongoing reform within the criminal justice system. It demands that we acknowledge and address the systemic biases and flaws that can undermine the integrity of investigations and lead to wrongful convictions. Moreover, it compels us to engage in difficult conversations about race, class, and privilege, recognizing that these factors can profoundly impact an individual's experience with the justice system. By confronting these uncomfortable truths and advocating for meaningful reforms, we can strive to create a more just and equitable society for all.